Hi, this is Marloomz Creations, and today I'm going to show you how to make the Grinch Who Stole Christmas on your Rainbow Loom. This is a single loom design. We just make the body and then we pull it off and then we make the head and attach it. I already have a Grinch on my channel, but I wanted to make another one that's more realistic, so this is what it came up with. And for today, you're going to need 100 red bands for the hat and his body. You're going to need 114 olive green. This is Rainbow Loom's olive green, and I really like the way this color looks. 43 white, 2 yellow for around the eyes, and this is optional, but I put the beads, and these beads I bought at, I think it's AC Moore or Michael's, and they are 4mm by 7mm, this size right here. If you don't have beads, then I will just show you how to wrap a band around your, a white band around, and you can just make buttons. And also, this bead is a large regular size pony bead for the little poof of the hat. Again, that's optional, and if you don't have it, I will show you how to just wrap bands around. So the supplies you will need are the bands that I told you, the 2 small beads for the buttons. Optional are tiny beads for the eyes. I'm going to show you how to thread the beads with using a piece of dental floss. If you have tiny e-beads, you can use that. If you don't, again, I will show you how to do it with rubber bands. So gather your supplies. These are all the supplies you're going to need. 100 red, 114 olive green, 43 white, 2 yellow, 2 optional red small e-beads, 2 pony beads for the buttons, and a larger pony bead for the rim of the hat. And then let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the arms, legs, and all the little pieces that go to the Grinch together. So let's begin by making his legs. You're going to start with grabbing 2 olive green bands and placing 2 here. And 2 here, and then you're going to grab 2 white bands, followed by 2 sets of red, and then you're going to take a single and wrap it around this peg 4 times. You can do that again on the other side. 2 green, 2 sets of green, white, and then 2 sets of red, and then cap it, wrapping around 4 times using a single band. And then you're going to just loop that. But before you loop, I think we can do, I was going to see if we can do the legs, but I think the legs are a little longer. So let's just loop these and put them to the side. And again, you just reach in under the cap and grab the bottom 2 and loop forward. These can be placed to the side. You can take them off and place it to the side. So now we're going to make the arms, and the arms are 4 sets of red. So you're going to go down your loom 4 times using red. And then you're going to switch to a set of white, and then 1 set of the olive green. So it's 4 red, a white, and olive green. And you're going to cap that 4 times. And then I'm going to make another set. And then cap it 4 times. And again, just loop these. Once you have looped them, you can remove them. And also place these to the side. So we did the arms, the legs, and now we're going to do the cheek extension. So you're going to go down your loom using the olive green 3 times. So you can do 2 sets of 3. I'm going to use this part of my loom and just go down 3 times. And these are all double bands. So I went down 3 and another 3, and then you can cap each one only 3 times. So you're taking a single band and you're wrapping around that peg only 3 times. Then you're pushing the cap band back and looping. Same on this one. And again, you can remove those. And place those to the side. And then we are going to make the ruffles. So you're going to need 4 sets of these. You're going to grab 2 whites at a time, place 2 on 2 separate pegs. Make sure they're just not connected. So just 2, 2. I need 2 pegs. And then grab a single band and you're going to wrap it around only 3. So on each one you're going to cap it with a single only 3 times. Again, 3 times. And you can loop that. And you can just place these to the side as well. They just need to make sure that the little cap band stays on them, but you can place them to the side. Again, make sure that that cap is only wrapped around 3 times on those. So we made the ruffles, the cheeks, the arms, and the legs. And next we're going to make the button. So that when we start the body, that's basically the next step. So I'm going to tell you how I do mine. I just take a single red and I slide it through my band. My bead. My bead is small enough, the opening that my band will it's large enough that it'll slide through without any assistance of dental floss. So that's what I do. And I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do that 2 times. But if you do not have beads, you're going to do something a little different. You're going to take a single band and you're going to wrap it around 4 times. And then you are going to transfer that cap band onto 2 red bands and just pull them over. and you're going to do that again. So you'll do another set, and that'll be your buttons. And this is the way I'm going to do my buttons. If you have beads that can slide right through, you could do it that way. So that's the buttons, and you can do that. And then the other thing is the eyes, but we'll do the eyes later because that will be done when we do the head. So now that we have all the pieces, we can actually begin making the doll. So we're going to make the body, and then we're going to pull him off, and then we're going to use the loom again to make his head. So let's begin with the body. You're going to start with 3 green bands, the choice that you chose for the color of your Grinch. You're going to place it right here, and make sure your loom is set up in the offset configuration. So 3 green bands, and then 2, these are 2 bands at a time, so 2 bands, 2 white bands this way, and 2 white bands here. And now the rest is going to be red. So you're going to take 2 bands, and you're going to go down 1, 2, I'm going to go down 5 times on this side. And you can go down 5 times on this side, just not the middle, because the middle is where we add the buttons. So go down 5 here. So we went down 5 on the outer rows, and for the middle, you're going to place 2 red, and then you're going to grab your bands with your button. If you're using the rubber bands, you're just going to place your rubber band right here like this. If you're using it the way I have, where it's on a single band, you're going to first place the bead, and remember that's only 1 band, so first place the bead, and then place another band over that. You're not placing 2 bands if you're using the rubber band method. So that's the way you do that one. And then again, you're going to take 2 more red bands and place 2 here. And then the next one is also where the other button is going to go. So I'm using my single where the button is, and then another single red over that. So it's 2 red bands, the button, 2 red bands, the button, and then again 2 red bands. Now you're going to switch to white bands. You're going to place 2 here, and do the same on each row, 2 here, and 2 here. Now grab your olive green or the green that you chose, and you are going to go down 2 times on each row. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and again 1 and 2. So just to recap, this is what yours should look like so far. You should have the 3 bands for the neck, white and white for the shoulder, and then you should have went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on each row with the buttons in the middle, and then 3 white here and 2 sets of green on each row. So now that you have the 2 sets of green, you're going to take another 2 and place it from here and from the middle to the outer side. So we place it on these 2. So 2 sets, and now you are going to go down the rest of the loom using your green. So you should go down 1, 2, and 3 times on each row. So just finish this all up with green. That one, look how that one's cut, not good. So now you're going to grab your Grinch's feet, and the legs are the one that start with the 2 green. So they should have 2 green, white, red, red. You're going to take your feet or your legs and you're going to place it on that very last peg. And again, make sure it's the one with the 2 green. And then place it on that last peg. You can even add the arms now. So take the arms and place it on the not the top peg, the second one from the top. Again, on the other side, place the arms. And before we forget, we're going to take a single red band. We're going to start making the triangle bands and the extensions, but you're going to take a single red band and you're going to wrap it around itself and place it on these 3. I'm just going to leave that there for now. Now we're going to start with the outer layer to make his belly more round. And you're going to take 2 bands. You're going to push these down. Actually, I'm sorry, before we forget, grab one of your ruffles, these little bands right here, the white ones, and you're going to place one on this side and one on this side. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7th peg from the top. So if you count down 7 times, it's on the 7th peg. Place that little ruffle there. Before I forget, and now we can start with the layers. So you're going to place 1, 2, 3 on the 3rd. Is it the 3rd? Yeah, the 3rd. On the 3rd peg. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 4th peg, I'm sorry. On the 4th peg, you are going to place another set of 2 bands. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 2 pegs below the arm. You're going to place 2 red bands. And then you're going to place 2 red bands again underneath that. And then another set of 2 red bands. Like that. And then you're going to do the same thing on this side. 2 red bands. 2 and 2. So after you place the 3 sets of reds, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you're going to then do the same thing with a set of white. So a white here and a white on this side, and then a set of green and another set of green, and that's when you're going to stop right here. So you should have placed an overlapping 1, 2, 3 sets of red, 1, 2, 3, and then a white, and then 2 sets of green. And then on this side, finish the same pattern. The last 2 set of green. 1, 2, 3 red, 1 white, 2 green. Now, take a single green and wrap it around this peg 3 times. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th peg up, you're wrapping a band 3 times around. Again, on this side, only 3 times. And now we're going to place triangle bands. So you're going to grab a single green and place it on these 3. So it's from the feet, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th peg up, you're going to place a triangle. Another triangle, and a triangle on these, a red band on these. I used 2 green and then a white here, a red here, a red on these 3, and a red on these 3. So all together you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 triangle bands on your Grinch right now. And once you have done that, you are going to then loop the outside. I'll show you how to do that. You're going to reach in on this peg where we placed the band that we only wrapped around 3 times, and you're aiming to grab the top 2. So I'm going to reach in, I'm grabbing those top 2, and I'm looping forward. And I'm going to use my other hook, and before we loop these 2 white bands, take your hook and wrap a band around 3 times, 2 white bands. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put a couple actually because we need to add ruffles to him later, so I'm going to do a couple. So just take single white bands and wrap them around 3 times. Alright, so now we're going to reach in here and push back that triangle band and grab the top 2 only and loop that forward. So we loop these 2, then reach in here and you're grabbing the top 2 white, and you're going to leave that on your hook, and you're going to slide these ruffles onto that band, and then you're going to loop that forward. So you slid those 3 ruffles on there, then you're going to reach in here, pushing that cap band back, grab the 2 reds, loop forward, grab the top 2 here, loop forward, and the top 2 here and loop forward, and this is where you're stopping. You're not looping anything else. You're stopping at 1, 2, 3, 4th. The 4th peg is where you are stopping because we have finished looping the top layer. So what you're going to do is you're going to place your thumb on this peg so that it doesn't pop off, and take your finger and grab the 2nd set and pop it off to the side. Again with this one, don't grab this piece right here, it's going to confuse you, don't grab that. Grab these, pop up, place it aside. And the same one on this one, this green one, pop this one up and place it aside. And you're leaving this on your peg. These 2 stay on your peg, and these 2 stay on your peg. Otherwise, if they come off, this whole thing will come undone. So now we're going to do the same thing on this side. So you're going to reach in where that band is wrapped around 3 times, and make sure yours is wrapped around 3. Mine fell apart. And then push back, grab the top 2 and loop that forward. Then reach in, grab those top 2, and make sure you're always pushing the triangle band back. Loop forward. Grab these 2, loop forward. Oops, 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 oops. Take that white off and add a ruffle. So you take those 2 white off and just add the ruffle, and then you place it back. Then reach in, grab the red, loop forward, grab the top 2, loop forward, these top 2, and loop forward. So we did the same thing on this side, and again, make sure you're not removing the bottom and the top. So I'm going to place my thumb so it just doesn't pop off. It never does, but just in case. And then reach in here and pinch the ones that you see that have a teardrop shape. Pop it up and to the side. Again, this one right here, pop it up to the side, and this last one right here, just not this piece. Pop up and to the side. And your triangles should look like triangles, so make sure they're shaped like that. And now we are going to loop the bottom row. So this part you're going to reach in where the feet are, grab the bottom 2 and loop forward. Let me switch to this hook now. Grab these 2, loop forward, and grab these 2 and loop forward. So we looped the leg and we stopped at the 4th peg, And in this peg, we have this band here, and we're going to grab this band inside, and you're pushing these bands back. So you're going to reach in the peg, push these back, and grab the very next two bands. Make sure you're not grabbing the very bottom set, so you might want to hold that down. So just reach in, push back, and grab the middle set of bands. And you know you're pulling, you have the right ones because you can see them pulling, and this goes to the middle. Now, 1 second, I just realized something, that we have 3 bands in the middle that do not belong. Remove these 3 bands. That would not have looked right. So you're just going to remove those 3 bands, those 3 sets. He's not going to have a third leg. So you're going to just take those 1, 2, 3 sets off, and you're just going to replace this one over here. And then you are going to do the same thing here. You're going to loop the leg and loop this one forward. That would have been really bad. You're going to do the same thing here. You're going to make sure you're not grabbing the bottom, but you're grabbing that middle set right here. So you're going to reach in, push back that cap band, and grab the middle set of bands, which are proving to be a pain. So I'm just going to pull on it and place it to the middle. So once you have placed that band to the middle, you're going to re-enter the same peg, and you're going to grab the bottom set. So I'm just going to reach in, push this band back, grab the bottom, and I'm going to loop him forward. Again here, push the bottom and loop him forward. Reach in the middle, push all these bands back, and grab the bottom 2 and loop forward. So now we have to add ruffles to these white ones, so I'm going to switch back to my other hook. It's just easier. And we need 3 ruffles. So 1, 2, 3 sets of bands wrapped around 3 times. So you should have 3 sets. And now I'm going to loop this one forward. And then this one, reach in, loop that forward. And loop this one. So we looped all the green. And now we're going to grab a white. So we're going to push the cap band back, grab a white, and add a ruffle. Just pull it on to that band and then loop it forward. The same thing on this one. Grab it, pull it onto the band, and loop it forward. And then this one. And loop it forward. So now we're going to reach in here, and you're pushing this back. You're pushing every white band back and grabbing the bottom 2 red and looping that forward. Loop the middle. Again, pushing all the white and grabbing the 2 red bands on the bottom. Then we're going to loop here. And loop here. Now if you're using beads, you can do this too, you don't have to, but I like to reach into this peg and push it, and I like to bring the bead up. That way I don't have to fuss with it when he's off the loom. You can do that too if you're using your rubber bands. You can try to like open this up and pull the rubber band up. So again, I'm going to loop this one forward. And so we loop this one, and now we're going to bring, again, reaching and pushing the triangle band back, loop this one forward, and grab these 2. And I'm going to do the same thing with the middle. I'm going to reach in here, just open the space up, and push the bead forward. Reach in here, loop forward, reach here, and reach here. Grab the bottom white. If you have an S-clip you can S-clip it in the neck, and I'll show you what to do. So we loop the 2 white bands, which is the neck bands, the shoulder I mean, and then you're going to push all these back, and you should be grabbing 3 olive green bands and placing it like that. I'm going to place my hook through there. I'm just going to grab a random band. It doesn't matter. And then you can S-clip that. That way it doesn't come undone. And then you can take him off, and I'm not going to yank him. I like for my figures to stay, for the bands to look like they're nice and tight and not overly stretched. So I'm just going to take it off little by little. You can yank yours if you want, but I don't suggest you do. This is what he'll look like. And the ruffle right here in the back, you can place it through those 2 bands. So I realized that the ruffle should have been added to the extension on the side, but that's not a big deal. So what you're going to do is the ruffle should be laying on the outside right here on the line, on the outer layer. It should be smack in the middle of right here. So you can just grab these 4 sets of bands, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to place the ruffle in there, the one that's in the back, and just pull on it. And then it will lay where it's supposed to lay again. So the ruffle is laying on the back, and it should be laying on the outline. So you're going to grab 1, 2, 3, 4 white bands, and you're going to place it right there. And it's not a big deal. We fixed it. It should have been added to the outside extension, but it's not a biggie. And then you can take your hook and just fix the little ruffles that are on the front. You can put your hook through them and just even them out. And then the feet, you can turn the feet up. And this is what it should look like. So now we're going to do his hat and his face. The hat and the face are pretty simple, and I will show you what to do. So for the hat, for the face actually, let's prepare the eyes. I'm going to show you what I do with my little red beads. So I take my tiny bead, and I do need a piece of dental floss to do this, so it's tiny enough that a band does not fit through it without assistance. And then I'm going to be grabbing 2 yellow bands, and try to use a yellow band that will stand out with your green. So I used that lime one at that time, the neon, and I'm just going to use this metallic one this time to see what it looks like. And then take a band, take the yellow band, the single. So you should have the bead and the band, and then you're going to take the piece of dental floss and go through the bead yet again. And then you're going to pull, and that's how you get your bead on there. Again, dental floss through the bead, grab your band, take the tip and place it back through your little bead, and just pull. If you do not have beads, you're going to be wrapping a single red around your hook 4 times and placing it on 2 yellow on a single yellow band. So I don't have another yellow band, but I'm going to show you an example. Just pretend the white is yellow, and you're just going to wrap that around like that 4 times. And you're just going to place that to the side, and that will be your eye, and you're going to do that 2 times. So we're going to begin the hat and the face of the Grinch, and you're going to start by using single bands. So you're going to take a single and put it on these 2 pegs right here, and then another single and place it from here to here. Another single from here to here, and another single from here to here. A single from here to here, and a single from here to here. So it's 1, 2, 3 going down, this one to this one, and then 1, 2. And then you're going to take another single, and on the third peg, 1, 2, 3, you're going to pull this band to the fourth peg. So on the third peg to 1, 2, 3, the fourth peg on this side. And now, once you've done that, you are going to switch to 2 bands. These will all single. Switch to 2, place 2 here, place 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, another 2 on this side, and then 2 more on the bottom. And before we forget, we're going to place the holding bands now. You're going to take a single, wrap it around itself, place it on these 2, another single, wrap it around itself, place it on these 2, a single wrapped around itself, place it on these 3, and then just a single on these 3. And then you can take your bead that you want for your hat, and I'm going to show you. I'm just going to grab 2 red bands, and my bead fits on my hook, but you're going to take 2 bands and slide it into your bead. If your bead should be big enough that your bands can fit through it, or you can use a piece of dental floss. I used 2 bands, and I'm going to place these on this peg right here. And then I'm going to switch to my white bands, and I'm going to place 2 white here and 2 white here. Now switch to your Grinch's green, place 2 here. You're going to go down 3 times on each side. So 1, 2, 3. So once you have placed 3 on each side, 3 rows, and these are using 2 bands, you can then turn into the middle and turn into the middle. And then fill in the middle with green. And push them down. And then you are going to, let me show you how to add the eyes. If you have a single yellow band with your red band, it's the same step. So just take your band, place the yellow loop on your hook, and you're going to take this loop and you're going to twist it and put the hook through it. And then you're going to take this loop, place it on your hook, twist it around, and place the hook through it. That's one eye. Again, take the loop, twist, and place your hook through it. Take the other loop, put it on your hook, and wrap it around. And that is what your eye should look like. And then grab your color of your Grinch, the green, and you're slowly going to slide these onto that single band. So I'm sliding one set, and make sure that as you slide them on, you evenly slide on the 2 bands at a time so that the eyes stay nice and neat. And then you are going to place that on these two right here. So that is right below the peg with the white. And then you're going to open this up and open the space and place one band above this peg and one band below it. Then you are going to grab your cheek extensions and your little ruffle. That's what the pieces you should have left. And your cheek extension should have 3 sets of bands, and then the cap band should have only been wrapped around 3 times. And you're going to place that on this peg right here. Then you're going to take your hook and go through the 3 bands and place the extension, the cap on that band. On that peg. Again, place all the bands here, and then grab the cap bands, all 3, and place it on the peg in front of it. So this is your cheeks. And now you're going to place a triangle band on these 3. And on these 3. You're not doing the eyes and you're not doing the top of the hat, and we already did the hat. You're going to take the ruffle and you're going to place the ruffle on here, but you're not going to loop the rest of the way. You're not going to add the entire band on it, just half of it, because we need to add this after. And the reason why we're adding it after is so that you get the look of the continuous rim, otherwise the green will show. So you're just going to get your Grinch's body and remove it if you've secured it. And you're going to take your hook and grab all 3 here and all 3 here. So you should have 6 bands, and make sure the front is the one with the buttons. And you're going to place him, all 6 bands, on this peg right here. And make sure that you have every band on there, and then push down. If you want to pull a little bit, you can, so that you have an opening, and you're going to reach in and grab the top 2 bands. So my top 2 go forward, and then you're going to reach in and grab the next top 2. Mine are going to the left, and then my final 2 are going to the right. Once you have done that, you're going to loop the middle. Then reach in here and you're pushing all these bands back and you're grabbing the bottom 2. So push everything back and grab just the bottom 2 and loop that forward. And same here. This is important to do this part right, otherwise the cheek will come apart. You're pushing this whole chunky bit back and grabbing the bottom 2. And loop forward. Then reach in here, push the triangle band back, and this part too, the extension. Just grab the bottom 2, loop forward, loop the middle. So you loop that one, and then this one. Push back all this, grab the bottom 2, loop forward. Push the eye band back. Here's a little eye band. You're pushing that back, grabbing the bottom 2, looping forward. Push this eye band back, grab the bottom 2, loop forward. Now you can take that loop and place it on the peg. And the same on this one. You can do it by hand or with your hook. Sometimes they fall off. I'm just going to place it on there. Okay, sorry for that. So now we have placed the rim. Now you're going to reach in here, and we need to grab the first set of white bands and place it to the middle. First, don't forget to loop right here, this middle band right here, otherwise the entire face will come apart. So make sure you have teardrop shapes, all 3 here and here. Then once you've looped the middle, you're going to reach in here, and you are pushing back this white part and grabbing the very next set of white bands and bringing it to the middle. So you're grabbing this band here. Push back these white bands and grab the next 2 bands that are white and bring it to the middle. Then re-enter this peg and grab the 2 red and loop forward. Re-enter, grab the 2 red, loop forward. Don't forget the middle. push all these bands back, all the white bands. Grab the 2 red. And if you feel that it's tight, you can take your hook, go in the peg, and go in a circular motion, and that'll release some of the tension that's being pulled on the band. Push the triangle band back, loop forward, loop here, and loop here. And loop this forward. And this is a single band, just in case you feel like it's thin. It is supposed to be single. This is a single. And again, this one is a single, and this one gets pulled to this peg. This one right here to this peg. Reach in, loop, reach in, loop. And this is that cap band. You're going to push that back, grab the single, place it there, reach in here, grab the single, and place it there. And I don't know if I showed you how to do your little bead in case you didn't have one. So if you don't have one, you can undo the last 2 right here. Undo those last 2. And if you didn't have a bead, I will show you how to do the little ruffle. You take a single white and you wrap it around 4. And again, another single white, wrap it around 4. And then you would transfer that on to 2 red bands. Once you transfer those into 2 red bands, you would get this. And then you can take that and place it on that peg the same way I would have the bead, but you would have the bands. I forgot that I should have showed you that. So that's what you would do in place of the bead. But if you do have that, you're going to then loop that, because I undid it just to show you. Loop these. And then you are grabbing a single red band and taking your hook, and you are going through all these bands, and you're going to make sure you go through all the bands, and then you're going to make a slip knot. You're going to pull, and what I do is after I've made the slip knot I pulled, I wrap it around here, the top of the hat, a couple times. And then it looks like that. And then you can again take him off slowly, especially where the cheek extensions are. If you overly stretch them, it doesn't look well. Something's being snagged. So this is the Grinch right off of the loom, and you're going to pull in the cheeks a little bit, not too hard. Adjust the eyes. The eyes should be forward and in the middle right here. Pull on the rim of the hat. And that is your Grinch. And then the little finishing touches, again, this is optional, is to have him with the little hair. And how I did that is I grabbed a few green bands. I'll show you the places that I placed them. So first on the face, there's that band that we wrapped around 3 times right here. And I grab a single and I pull it through those 3. And I take it and I make a slip knot. And I pull it tight towards the bottom though, so it can be hidden, and I keep pulling it. And then I do the same thing on this side. You should find the band that we wrapped around 3 times right here. Grab a single, pull it through, pull tight. When you're pulling tight, hold the bands though, so you don't overly stretch your other bands. So that's 2, and then eventually we cut them. I just want to show you where I placed them. And then for the neck, I did these 3 right here, just the first set of 3. Pull it through, and you really can place them wherever you want to place them. And pull tight. tight enough that you can't see the knot. And then I did again on the other side. And you don't have to do the top 3, you could do the back 3 so that you don't see the knot. You can aim the knot, push it up into the neck. There. And then you can't see the knot as much. Then I did 2 on his hands. So I grabbed, here's his hand. I grabbed these 2 right here. I'm sorry. Wait, here's his hand. And I grabbed these 2 like that. So the cap band should be right there in the middle. And then I took a single, pulled it through, and I pulled the knot so that I could blend in with the cap band. And then I did that again on the other side. You could just keep adding them. So if this is his hand right here, you're taking your hook and going through this way. And then you pull in the slip knot. And pulling tight. And I'm going to cut them to give you a little example of what they look like. And so what I do is I aim it where it's like bending over. And then I just cut like that. So see how it's like drooping over? I like that. And then I just cut it like that. Then I do the neck. It's better to cut it long because then you can just adjust it if it's too long. If you cut it too short, then you have to start over. See, that's too long. Now he looks like Edward Scissorhands. So that's how I did that part, and then I added some on his, I guess, butt area. Again, optional. I grabbed the back too so that you couldn't see it. Same thing, slip knot. Pinch the bands while you're pulling so it doesn't overly stretch your bands. Sorry. And just cut. And again, you just keep adding them where you want to add them, and it just gives him that nice hairy appearance like the way he is. Pretty hairy guy. And that is how you make your Grinch. So I hope it wasn't too hard, and I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you for watching.